Good evening, everyone. Myself, Romy, and Melina, myself from Houston, Romy, and Melina from Canada. We both are live again with our next episode of Help, Serve, and Grow. So, if you are following us, we have been coming live um, through this book journey, through the book Never Quit on a Bad Day. So, today we are on chapter 8. We are going chapter by chapter every week, and we are discussing on that. So, today's chapter is by Scott
Pause.
Hospital.
Yep.
Reframe your days. This is
Yep.
the chapter, and this book is written. This book is by Phoebe Trotman, but each chapter is written by, inspiring stories of resilience by thriving entrepreneurs. So every chapter is written by different entrepreneurs, and they are telling their story so that they can inspire. Us, like the thriving entrepreneurs like us, and whoever is watching us live or watching our replay. Thank
Yeah.
you for watching, and welcome to our episode.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. Good evening. So today we are back again in the Help Serve and Grow episode. As Romy said, we are talking about Scott Pospical. He is an accomplished network marketer. He was a very, very successful entrepreneur, and the reason why he wanted to become an entrepreneur because he realized that he wanted more financial stability and potential personal freedom. Okay, so he was a very he was doing very well in his job actually, and but because the two main reasons of having more financial stability and personal freedom, he decided to join a network marketing company while working a full-time job and also a basketball coach. So he was a sports person too, and quickly he made his name for himself in the industry, and he became a top leader. So one of the Scott's greatest strength is his ability to lead by example. So he's a good fighter, and he is actually the word never quit on a bad day is very appropriate in his story because he never ever thought of having bad days in his life or in his business like entrepreneurship. He always found the positivity in that bad day, and he never even talked the day as a bad day. He always expressed in a way, you will hear this from Romy very soon, like how he turned a bad day into a good day. So is a very inspiring such a thriving entrepreneur. So it's very very interesting very interesting things happened in his life. So today we are going through this is chapter. So yeah.
So he starts something like this. When he was 11 years old, his whole family moved from Wisconsin to a small town in Florida, Abundeo. That's a small town in Florida, and he was 11 years old at that time. So he loved football. He loved sports itself, like every sports, but then at that time he wanted to try out for the little uh, league football team, and he was the last kid cut, and he couldn't make it, and he thought that he didn't get a fair enough chance, and anyway he couldn't make it. And then his dad could feel the devastation on his face, and then he didn't give a thought about it, but then, sorry,
Are you okay?
and the next week there was a kid who quit. If you want to take over, I cannot speak.
Yeah, okay. So Romy can have some water. So he was a very he was actually very interested in sports, and he wanted to actually we are just partnering. Now we have to talk.
Okay,
So
that's fine.
I'm
That's
not.
fine. I could take over. No
Yeah.
problem.
Okay. So yeah.
These things can happen.
Yeah.
So what happened was he did not think about it after that, right? He couldn't make out the team. But then what happened was that another one person quit. One of the kids
Mm.
quit, and the coach called him and said if he could, like, do a blocking competition against this older kid, he could make to the team. So he did, and he won, and he could make to the team. So, what he's trying to tell here is getting cut was devastating, but also a great life lesson, right? In humility and not giving up. So, it's a good life lesson where you are thinking, okay, you couldn't make the team, and then you just give up. But this kid did not give up. And when he got called back to go for this competition and get into the team, he never said, he the pride, that's what he's saying, the pride never took over. He's still okay, that's fine, I can come and do that. And because his goal was to get into the team, nothing else mattered for him, right? So when they offered me a chance to come back, I wasn't prideful and didn't keep my head down. He said, that's fine, I want to come back. So he tried. So that is a life lesson he followed all over in his life, right? That he never gave up, whatever the life situation. He had failed in so many, he tried so many times, he failed so many times, but that did not stop him, right? And then he did play basketball, and he was in playing basketball in college was one of his goals. He did a lot of, like, keep on trying. And one time he was in this he was the last kid to go in and play, so he never got a chance to really play a game, right? So one day this coach comes and tells him, okay, I don't think you are going to play, because he's the last kid, right? It never got a chance, but he never gave up. He said, no, I'm going to stay, I will still try. And then he, from the last kid, went to he I don't know exactly the terms, what it means, but it says that from the last guy to being a starter 7 games into the season, and went from being a walk-on to earning a scholarship for his. So if he would have given up just listening to the coach, you know he would have not made a scholarship, right?
Yeah.
So he says that I have never been much of a quitter. So that is his mindset, right? He never gives up.
Yeah.
So eventually he went in. One challenge did almost get to me, though. In 1994 he was working as a basketball, see, now he's a basketball coach at Palm Beach Junior College in West Palm Beach, Florida. And on the side he was building a network marketing too. And then one day what happened was, like, this guy called from the Orlando and told, okay, I'm going to, if you come in for this network marketing, if I will keep a whole room full of people for you. That was the promise of this guy who set up everything for him.
So that was
And
like the
then,
traditional kind of marketing ways, like the
yes, and
traditional way.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was not
Meet people.
like this, not online, right? He has to go and talk
Meet
to people.
people.
So he said, okay, that's fine. And then he told that guy who's set up everything, told, okay, the room rent is this much, can you pay? And then he paid for it. And then one of the guy who was in West Palm Beach also tagged, and he said, okay, can I ride with you? He was in his team too. Ride with you. He gave ride to that guy. They both went together. But then his wife said, the weather is not good. Do you think there would be people, a lot of people, or, like, a room full of people? Do you think? I'm sure there would be nobody. He did not listen to his wife because he didn't want to get the negative comment, or didn't want to listen to the negative comment, right? So he just said he rode in that rain with, it was pretty bad, and he drove and with this guy, and reached the room where they were supposed to be packed full of people, right? The guy who organized was not there, and there was no other single person, and it was so heartbreaking. He drove through this climate and went there. It was just the guy who drove with ride with him was there, but he still was not. He didn't give up. He had that good spirit, right? He said it was okay, that's fine. The only thing he which worried was him, oh, when he got home, oh, I told you so, that's what his wife is going to say. So that was the only worry he had. But anyways, when he drove back and we drove back, and wherever the guy who had a ride with him got to his car, he asked for a $400 of some money, because he had to use the money for something, right? Child support or something. Even that, he gave it to him. He didn't ask any question, he gave it to that guy, but he never saw that guy again. That's what he says in later chapter. He says he never saw that guy again. But these things did not break him. He had that good spirit. He saw the positivity. He saw, so that's what he saw in all of this. But to his wife, he said, oh, the room was packed full of people. You should have seen that. He never said that there was no people in there. So that's how um, um, Scott Hospital was. So I'm just going to hand over to Melina to
Yeah.
further say about this chapter.
Yeah, so the incident that you mentioned was so, I mean, it was funny, but at the same
Yes.
time, it's so heartbreaking and embarrassing
Yes.
because
Mhm.
he was paying from his hand to
Mhm.
do all everything, and the person who was what is a volunteer to bring everyone was not there. His whole
Mhm.
trip was very bad. The person who
Yes.
was riding with him was not good to him. Like, I mean, he also took some money from him and never showed back, but
Yes.
he didn't give up. He didn't even tell that it was a bad day. He
Mhm.
came to his wife and told her that it was a very good day. He had lots of people. It was
Yes.
amazing. So,
Yes.
and I like the way he explains it. It is, I know that not every day is a good day, but
Mhm.
when people feel that like there's a lot of stress around them, I say, hold it, stop. Let me ask you a question. Are you healthy? Are your loved ones healthy? I
Yeah.
remind them to keep stress is in check and stop worrying about the days that are less than great. So
Mhm.
so powerful because we always think that we are the only ones who have bad days. No, but he never even think that there's a bad day. He makes you ask the question like, "Are you okay? Is your
Are
loved
you
ones
healthy,
okay?
right?
You are having a good day." So
Yeah.
very powerful thought. So and later we see that he very successfully building his business, and he became a millionaire. And
Mhm. Yes.
the one thing he wants to stress is he was not a poor guy. He was doing very well in his daily like his job, but
Mhm.
the reason why he wanted to have entrepreneurship is because he was wanting to have a cool life like other families. Like he wanted to have cool things for his family. He wanted to fly for his vacation because he was only driving vacation with his family, and but he
Mhm.
wanted to fly with his kids and family. He wanted to do better things in life. So that is the reason that he was wanting to have a entrepreneurship. And also he bought a second home later, he says, and he used to drive there with his family, and the home was in front of ocean. So he
Yes.
used to go there with his family, drive around, and they really had a good life. Later he says that his network marketing company owner wanted offered him a job to hire his basketball team,
Coach as a
uh, as a
person.
coach, like sorry, as a basketball coach for like $400,000 per
Yeah.
year.
For
Later,
yeah.
because of that, he became an assistant coach at the University of Alabama. So that was all because of his presence in that team or in that company. And he says network marketing is all about relationships. But one of the most important mantra he hear a lot is about becoming like the people you spend the time with, which is very
Yes,
important.
very important.
Like you will become the person who you spend the time with. And to paraphrase, he says, show me your first five best friends and I'll show you how much money you made. That's a whole different lifestyle. So be very careful with who you are mingling around, and that will decide what your lifestyle is going to be. Very, very powerful. So, and also he also says that at a funeral he didn't even know the incident until his father's funeral, because there was this guy who came up to him and said that, like, it's your father that who bought the shoes for me when I was in the school. And there was another guy who said the same thing, and then he realized his father used to buy shoes, tennis shoes, for kids in his team who couldn't afford it. So that made him like, he was very shocked to hear that, and he wanted to continue it later. So he was helping others, helping other kids who couldn't afford to buy shoes. So it's kind of a helping mentality he could do, because he had a good thriving entrepreneurship. So he was also a sports person, so he's connecting his business to the way he talks about sports. So in sports, as in business, you have to work hard. There is no other way. The will to win is the will to work, because you're not going to win if you don't work at anything. You have to make that effort. So that shows that nothing is like a quick rich thing, nothing is easy. You need to put the effort to get to make it to the winning state. Okay. So especially in network marketing, you don't just find someone to be on your team who's a natural builder. You have to work to look for that person. So he says anything worth having in life is worth working for. And one of his favorite quote is, "You think the price to pay is too high for success. Wait till you get the bill for regret."
Regret.
Very powerful, right?
Very powerful. I
Very
like that.
powerful. Yeah, we think it's very the price for success is too high, but just remember the bill you get when you regret. Oh my God,
So
powerful.
deep, right? When you think about it.
Oh, like you can forget all these quotes. Also, there's another incident which he mentions here, is like, you were sitting on the floor at a Dallas Mavericks game with the owner of the former network company, who hired him as a coach for the basketball team. So he had four floor seats, and also he had a suite. And he asked, how expensive are these seats? And he said, like, it's under $1,500 each. So he has four of that for each game. And he said, well, that's a heavy price. And then the owner pointed all the way top to the stadium and said, well, look up there. I believe they pay a greater price to sit there, because they are not willing to do what it takes to sit right here, close to the action. So that's such a powerful. So people who are sitting there are not realizing what made this guy sit here, because he was ready to do the action, he was ready to do the work. That's why he could afford such a high price seat, which is very close to the action. Okay, so
Yes.
very, very powerful chapter. So he was never a quitting guy. He always wanted to win and found opportunities on a even a bad day. So he says success requires effort, and the price of regret is far greater than the price of hard work. So if you are looking to have a change in life, I would say, like, this chapter is so powerful. Like, you have to pay the price for the success, but because the price of regret is way, way too higher than that. So don't ever think success will come to you easily. You have to pay a price. You have to put the effort, and then you will reach there eventually. Because the price of always remember, the price of regret is way more higher than that. So we don't want to regret later in life.
Yes.
Very
Regret
powerful.
is a bad and bad thing. I don't want to regret.
Very
Not
powerful.
try, right?
Very nice.
Okay. So we're coming to the end of the chapter. We are going to the reflections. So, as he said, he, even the challenging days, he doesn't want to look it as a bad day. He wanted to he's a person, he always looks to find a positive thing even in the challenging days, right? This is what about this chapter, right? So what he's saying is, this exercise might not be easy, but it's a great way to challenge yourself and see things from a different perspective by finding the good in our bad days. That is what he's saying. Don't even say that is a bad day,
Yeah.
right? We can learn to approach life with more positive outlook. So take some time to reflect on one of your bad day, whichever you consider a bad day, and see what you can learn from them. You might be surprised at the strength and growth you discover within yourself. That's what he says. So, whatever you think is a baddest, like bad day in your life, take that day and see what did you learn, right? So, that is what he's saying. And also, he wants to add, how can you use what you learned from that tough day to help you in the present and future? So, whatever you learned, whatever skills, whatever strength you got from that day, probably it's annoying, right? You just pass the day, you're thinking, oh, I just wanted to finish this day and like go on. But you learned something from it. So, you have to sit back and think about it, right? Help you in the present or future. So, these things you learned and learned the skills and the strength, you have to use it in your present life and your future life. So that's what he says. So remembering the lessons and growth from our past bad days can help us navigate future challenges with more resilience and positivity. So focus on your positive outcome. That's what the chapter says. So that with that we come to the end of this chapter. I guess whoever is watching us and watching the replay are getting some value out of our these chapters. If you get a chance to buy this book, it's on Amazon. You can buy it and read it, you can keep it, and whenever you have a bad day, just get a chapter and read it. That's the best way to overcome whatever you're going through,
Yeah.
because this will help us learn, grow, and thrive for sure. So, change the way you look at things, and the things you look at change. By
Dyer.
Wayne Dyer. So, we come to end of this chapter today. Next week we are going to come with chapter 9. It is from setback to success. It is by Simon Chan.
Yeah.
So
I think there's only two more chapters, right? Three more chapters we have to finish.
three more.
No, 9, 10.
Yeah, like four more, total of four. I mean,
Yeah.
like it's not a chapter. The last one is not a chapter, but we will go through that. It's like a reflection too.
Yeah.
So
So,
I guess you guys are getting some values. That is our goal. Thank you so much for watching us. We will come again next week.
weekend, yeah, probably we will be doing it on a weekend,
Mhm.
because because of our time constraints, and we are both families, so we try
Yes.
to accommodate our timings and everything. That's why today it became very late, because
But we will
Romy
come for
was
sure,
busy with her
right? That
daughter
is it.
and I
We
was
will make it for sure. Doesn't
sure.
matter. The time is not
Yeah,
a
yeah, we
problem.
will come,
Yeah.
and you can watch the replay if you can't catch up live with us. But
Mhm.
if you're finding some value in whatever we are sharing with you all, please
Mhm.
comment in our videos, either in Romy's page or my page, wherever you are watching from, because it's nice to hear if you are finding some value in what we are saying.
Mhm.
So please comment and
Mhm.
support us
That would be
and
an encouragement for us,
encourage.
right?
Yeah, so it's a good thing to know that you are finding value in what we say,
Mhm.
because it's a learning for us also, because we are reading it for the first time. So we are also getting a lot of positive things by reading these inspiring stories. So
Yes.
I hope it's going to help you guys too. So have a
Okay.
blessed evening, everyone,
Good
and
night,
good
everyone.
night. Bye
Wherever
bye.
you're watching, good night,
Wherever you're
good
watching, if
afternoon,
it's from
and
India,
good
good
morning.
morning. Yeah.
See you next week. Bye bye.
Bye.